Welcome to Athletic Ambitions with me, Fiona Carter.
And me, Tom Barlow.
We are here to share the stories of our Cass and Friends athletes, aspiring Olympians and world champions. We will also interview elite athletes and professionals. They will be sharing their stories, the ups and downs and bumpy ride that their journey may have. We will learn how they persevere and deal with setbacks, train and compete at the highest level, and how their mindset helps with every step of the way. So if you want to hear about our upcoming athletes and learn from the best, this podcast is for you.
This is Athletic Ambitions, where every journey begins with a single step.
Hi Ella, thank you so much for coming on to the Cass and Friends podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
It is lovely to see you. I haven't seen you for a little while, so it's really nice to catch up.
I know, it's gorgeous to see you too.
So Ella is an alumni athlete of Cass and Friends. She's been a brilliant Cass and Friends athlete because she's supported all of our community events and she's been through our 8-week performance mindset course. She's always been committed to trying the strategies on the course, and we can see that that's helped her a little bit recently because she's just done brilliantly, getting a silver medal in the national championships, and she's now carving out her next stage of her sporting career by going to Jackson State University. So it's going to be really lovely to hear all about Ella's journey so far, what she's looking forward to in the future. So thank you for coming on. So let's start, Ella, right at the beginning. Tell us about your sport growing up.
So yeah, I started track, I think when I was 9 years old, which is a long time ago. But I think it was when I won my first sports day, because I never used to be quick because I'd run with my arms by my sides, which was not the most efficient way of running. So when I learned that I could use my arms to run, I realised I was very quick. And in fact, I beat all of the girls and all of the boys in sports day. So I thought, right, I'm going to join an athletics club and see what I can do. And I think I started at Gloucester Athletics, and I started in like a multi-events group. So I was doing a bit of everything. And I can tell you now, sprinting was the only event for me.
And Ella and I have laughed about the distances that I do in training and the distances that she does in a hard session.
It's hilarious. I don't think I could even finish one of Fiona's sessions, even if I tried. Which is hilarious. But yeah, so and it was weird because my PE teachers would always say, like, how is she so quick but so unathletic at the same time? Because I couldn't catch a ball, I couldn't throw a ball. Honestly, it was mental. But I fell in love with sprinting really quickly, and even like competing and any opportunity I had to race and training, I was like, oh yeah, I absolutely loved it. So yeah, that's how I fell in love with sprinting. And yeah, it's amazing.
So, when you're age 9, so the age categories, which age category did you sort of start competing in then?
So it would have been under 13s, I think. So I was probably a bit young. I think I probably started competing around like 10. So yeah, under 13s is probably the youngest age group. And I was quite used to sort of, because it was county level kind of competitions. So I would usually be winning those kind of events, which was, I kind of got used to it. So I think when I went to my first like Southwest event and I realized, oh gosh, maybe I'm not as fast as I thought I was.
Yeah, suddenly the pool of competitors opens up.
Yeah, because it really opened my eyes. Because I think when you're a 9-year-old, you've just got all of the confidence in the world, and it's just like you feel like you could be anyone. And when I was racing, I kind of did, until you realize, wow, there are some really talented athletes out there. And that's when I kind of realized, I want to take this seriously. I want to be where these people are. So yeah, that's how I kind of got into how I realized I really wanted to, push myself and see how far I could go.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Young kids, that under 13, maybe even to under 15, the confidence seems so high. And then maybe as we get a little bit older, under 17s, under 20s, it's hard, isn't it, to keep that confidence going.
You have to like rediscover it, I think, because there's no reason you shouldn't have it because you're better than you've ever been. So why not? I mean, confidence never hurt anyone, I don't think.
No, although it goes up and down very quickly, doesn't it?
It does.
And then it's like slashed within a session or half a session or a bad competition.
Definitely, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to focus on keeping it as high as I can.
Yeah, no, you've certainly done that over the last sort of 6 months. So you did school games, Southwest Championships, and then recently Senior British Championships. Tell us about some of the key competitions you've done and what you've enjoyed about them.
So yeah, I mean, again, it all comes down to how confident I was going into the event. I think school games, I remember that was sort of that was the first time I ever wore like an England vest. So I was very nervous, and it was the first event that I'd properly like qualified for. So I was like, this is really exciting, but I was so nervous and I was kind of like doubting myself. And again, for that event, I did not perform how I wanted to, which is because I don't know how old I was then. I must have been, it was under 17, so I must have been around 16, I think. So yeah, I went into that race with quite low confidence, and it was, yeah, not what I expected. So I think, and then when you look at like, so my first British champs, so senior British champs, I think I was 17, and I went into that race sort of with a bit more confidence. I really wanted to do well, especially because I had a lot of my family watching and stuff. I was like, oh, they were watching me on TV, and I've got to my A game. So, and for that race, I actually did really well. Like I equaled my PB, and I made the semi-final, which for senior British champs is an under 20. I think it's really impressive. So I was really happy with that. So it's just going into those races, like just believing in yourself.
Yeah. Tell me about some of the things we did on the performance mindset course. Can you remember any of the strategies that you tried to put into place?
Oh, I remember like the little tattoo, temporary tattoo where we thought of 3 words together that kind of meant the most to me, that motivated me the most, and I had about 10 of these little temporary tattoos, and every time I'd have a race, I'd put it in a different spot.
Brilliant.
Just to keep it exciting. And I loved that because it was a really nice little reminder. It really upped my confidence before a race.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm trying to think, what else did we do?
We talked a lot about your chimp. We talked about different parts of your brain. The chimp side being a little bit emotional, and the computer side of your brain with all the sort of beliefs and habits you have, and then the rational side of your brain.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. What was his name? Tarquin, wasn't it?
And then you had a big gorilla as your profile picture on Power of 10. I don't know whether he's still there.
Yeah, that's my chimp when he's feeling confident.
Excellent. Oh,
good times. Yeah. I think it's just so when you've got your little chimp and he, sometimes he doubts himself, but I think if you go into these events just, acknowledging that you're going to have these moments where you feel slightly less confident or really nervous, but it's just knowing that that's normal and that you should have all the belief in yourself that you can, because those nerves and stuff, you can use them to be the best athlete that you can be, because we're all human. So I think it's really important. Yeah,
absolutely. And so when you joined Gloucester, was Justin your coach when you joined, or has he become your coach in the more recent years?
So I started in the multi-events group, and it was kind of just all sorts of coaches really. And then when they realized that, oh, this girl is not a multi-eventer, they kind of pushed me on to Justin, who's like a sprint specialist coach. So I must have started there around 13 years old, and I loved it. I was so happy in that group because I didn't like going to training and having to do shot put and all these things that I didn't know how to do.
Yes.
So just going to training and being confident that I was doing something that I was good at all the time was really nice. And yeah, Justin's been absolutely amazing because his knowledge on sprinting and sprint mechanics is so good. He's really helped my understanding of myself as an athlete and how I run and how I need to improve. So I think, yeah, a lot of credit goes to him.
So nice to hear. No, he's brilliant. A huge advocate of the charity, and always really, really, nice and helpful with me if I'm asking him questions about athletes, or for him to support the charity. So
yeah, he's been fab.
Yeah, he's super. What about your? So you did your GCSEs and then you went on to Hartbury. What did you study at Hartbury, Mammy?
Hartbury was sport and exercise science.
So did that help you as well in understanding you and
Yeah,
your body and mechanics and sport?
yeah, massively. Because well, there's a module called literally biomechanics, which is all about sprint mechanics, which was amazing for me. I was like, wow, this because it's really interesting, and a lot of the courses applied to me. You've got sports psychology, sports nutrition, and all of these things that I was learning about it for the exams, but also applying it to myself because it was really good information. So I'm happy that I chose Hartbury, and also the facilities at Hartbury are absolutely amazing, as you know. Like
Yeah.
there's a sports like mechanics lab, so you can test yourself and look at all of these like equipment that gives you different like your VO2 max and all that kind of stuff. It's incredible. So I think that's something that I knew I wouldn't get from just going somewhere else and studying A levels.
Yes.
Um, so I think it was the best option for me in terms of learning more about myself as an athlete, definitely. And I really loved it there. It was fabulous. So really glad I chose it.
I can understand all of that, and knowing all those sort of metrics about yourself is really motivating as well, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Because it definitely allowed me to see my strengths and weaknesses. Like for example, so like my speed and um I've always been very strong. We were able to test all of these different components, but it also, it let me see what I wasn't so good at. So I'd focus on these things. Like I think my endurance really isn't the best, but I knew then that that was a work on for me and that I could, so it's just helped me to become the best that I can be, really, which is really promising.
Yeah, yeah. Did you feed any of that stuff into your training with Justin, like the VO2 max data and things like that?
Yeah, so like me and Justin, so we did a lot of the testing together at Hartbury. So we did and it's really precise testing as well. Like you'll look at strength of just like individual muscles or like the way you push onto like a platform. Like, it's very precise in what it measures. So it allows you to see all basically your entire mechanics from your ankles to your shoulders. Like, it was incredible, really. So yeah, we did it together. So anything we did at Hartbury, we could apply to the track, and then vice versa, which is
Yeah. That's amazing. So knowing that you're such, you wanted to do that course and that study is so much more interesting, isn't it, than doing sort of like, I don't know, history, geography, and physics.
yeah. That's the thing. If I was going to do A levels, I would have chosen like history and art and stuff, which would have been interesting, but completely different, not
Yeah,
helpful at all.
not helpful for your sport. Absolutely brilliant. Lifting, you've done some good heavy lifting, haven't you? So talk us about your S&C work alongside the drills and the sprinting. So how does that all slot in?
So yeah, so like definitely at Hartbury was really fab because there was a performance academy where we could use the gyms, which were amazing. So I think me as an athlete, I'm very strength based, like because I'm not a tall sprinter, so I can't rely on my length to get me down the track. So I've got to be strong and I've got to be fast. So yeah, we do a lot of like Olympic lifts, which you've probably seen, like power cleans and stuff like that, which are very technical, but once you can get your head around them, they're really good. And then you've just got like your classic like lifts just to focus on strength, like your bench press, your squats, and deadlifts and stuff like that. It's all really, really good.
Yes. I remember talking to you about it one session where you were bench pressing some very big
I've got that up to 80 kilograms now, which is
That's incredible.
it is impressive.
So how often do you strength train?
How often do I strength train? At the moment, so I think I do 3 or 4 times a week, which some days will be heavier days, other days will be more like accessory movements or sprint specific movements, kind of like banded hip drives and all that kind of stuff. So you have to structure it in a smart way. You can't, for example, do a really heavy lifting session right before a track session because you want the quality to be on the track. That's the priority for your training. You don't want to, you shouldn't be chasing to go heavier and heavier in the gym if you're not seeing improvements on the track. So
Yes.
they have to complement each other. They can't be two separate things. And I think that's a mistake that a lot of people tend to make.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure they would. Getting the right balance, the training sessions. I mean, that's Justin, isn't it? He's sort of setting you all the sessions
Mhm.
and the
If it wasn't for him, I'd definitely get it all wrong.
yeah. Brilliant thing about a coach is it's somebody to keep you consistent but injury free.
Exactly.
That's really, really valuable for any athlete.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
So tell us about your season then. What's coming up for you?
What is coming up? Um, so this is obviously my last outdoor season before I head off to the US, which is exciting. Um, so I've just opened up my season at Stratford in London, which was really good. I had 200-meter PBs, which is exciting.
Yes.
Um, and I've got a few opens coming up, and then I've got Southwest Championships. But the ultimate goal is, Senior British Championships, which is at the beginning of August, right before I go away. But unless I qualify for any bigger events, which would be really exciting, but we'll see. We'll see where we end up. So yeah, I want to try and get my 200-meter time down as well, because that's definitely one of my weaknesses. But also just see how much I can push that 100-meter time as well.
Yes. When you say possibly qualifying for any other events, would that be like European Championships type things?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, you never know. I'd like to stay confident, stay positive, or
Yes.
just any kind of like international event would be incredible. I think I definitely will need to push myself, run as quick as I can. It's definitely in the tank, 100%. It's just, can I bring the mindset and the ability on the same day? And I think I
Yes.
should be able to do it. I think it's definitely possible, which is exciting.
It's so exciting because you alluded to the fact that your last race, whilst two PBs, you perhaps didn't run your perfect race, which tells me that there's plenty more in the tank.
Yeah, that's the thing. Execution hasn't quite been there the past few races. So I think if I can get that right, as well as bringing that confidence and stuff, I should really knock some time off, which is really exciting. So definitely confidence is high at the moment.
Good stuff. It's only probably hundreds of a second you've got to get off for the European standard time, is
Yeah,
it?
literally. I think it's like 0.3, maybe something like that. Something that could be easily done, but also going to need a bit of a push. So exciting.
I'm excited for you, and I'm hugely confident that you're going to get it done this summer.
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, Ella. So you've got you also alluded to the fact off to the States in August or just after August. Tell us about your journey. Tell us what happened, because you went to Hartbury, you finished your BTEC, you got distinctions throughout. When we met up after that, you weren't sure what you were doing. You were taking a year out, but you weren't entirely sure what to do. So tell us about this decision and this next stage.
So yeah, I mean, obviously the original plan was to stay in the UK for university, and I was always kind of not thrilled by that idea. I think I've always wanted to do something that really pushes my boundaries, and that didn't really meet that requirement for me. But I was like, you know what, it's still a good option. I'm going to do it. But then I was approached by Keystone Sports, which are the agency I'm with, who are incredible. And they just kind of introduced me to all of these ideas and places that I could go and what could happen. And I was like, this sounds unbelievable. I would love to do that. So the goal was obviously to go Division 1, which was really, it's a big goal. I mean, it's a lot of athletes want to go D1. So the first Division 1 school that I spoke to were actually Jacksonville State University, and I was absolutely stunned at the fact a D1 university wanted me. I was like, my goodness. So it wasn't the only one, but I think what lent me towards it was just like the amazing weather and the facilities and how nice the coach was when I spoke to him. So I think, yeah, that's it. It was a no-brainer for me, really. So I'm so excited as well, because the scholarship was incredible as well. I think it covers my tuition, all of my food, all of my books and stuff like that. So yeah, incredible, really exciting.
So exciting. So it covers tuition, it books airfare to get over there, I presume, and maybe a trip back.
I think you get a flight there, which is good. It does. What else does it cover? It covers 2 seconds. What did it? Oh yeah, and it obviously covers your housing and stuff like that, which is a
Yes.
massive help.
It's massive. So you're going to go to this amazing university with this stunning weather, all these fantastic facilities, a brilliant coach. Obviously, you're going to miss Justin, but a brilliant coach, and you're going to not come back with any student debt.
I know, and isn't that the best bit of it? It's so exciting. That's why I would recommend it to anyone that can, if it's an option for you, always give it a go. At least see if it's possible, because I think if this works out, it'll be absolutely incredible for me, and I'm so excited.
Yeah. So how do this is great information for other athletes, isn't it? So I know our younger athletes are going to be hugely inspired by you, Ella, what you've already achieved and what you're going on to do. So tell everybody about Keystone. Like, how do you find an agency, or do they come to you, or how does that work?
Well, you can always, there's lots of agencies that you can just research. All you'd need to type in is, sporting agencies to help go to the US. Or it's not just the US, it's any, Keystone, I believe, do multiple different countries. So if you're not interested in the US, you can go and study anywhere and compete anywhere, which is really exciting. I think, so yeah, I'd recommend that. I mean, you can always find them on social media as well, but I think there's a few others like First Point USA, which is another big agency. That's obviously just for the US. And I would just say it is an incredible decision, because you do have to pay for the agency, but it saves you so much money in terms of the scholarship you get. Because if the university is approached by an agency as opposed to an individual person, they're more inclined to give you a better offer and better prices and stuff, which is, yeah, so it's definitely an amazing option. And they'll help you look for the best university for you. So if it's, because it's not for everyone, but because the US is so diverse and there's so many different types of universities, different states, I think there's something for everyone out there, which is really, really exciting, I think.
I do. Yeah. And so Division 1, is that based on academic performance and sporting performance, or tell us about that?
So there's 3 divisions so the NCAA is the sort of like athletic association in the US. So it's not to do with academics, it's strictly sport performance. It's like the performance of the university.
Yeah.
D1 university is like the top division of university in the US. So you can get D1 football, D1 track, obviously, gymnastics, all of that. So it's just the overall performance of the university. So if you're a high performing athlete, you want to go D1, that's yes. The goal. So yeah, the fact I've gone D1 is very exciting. I didn't think it would be possible, but here we are.
Here we are. There you are. Brilliant. Do you know anybody else going? Like, do they kind of put you in touch with other foreign students who are going?
They've put me in touch with a girl from Germany, which is exciting. We're going to be in the same sort of like, we have our own rooms, but we sort of share like a living space with 4 other people. So they've put me in touch with her, and she's lovely. So that's exciting. And they've also put me in touch with a girl who's already there. From England, so that I could sort of see what it's like, and just see someone that's done it, because it's obviously a huge transition and it's a scary, huge step to take. So it was nice to talk to someone that's been in the exact same situation as I am now. So that was lovely. Her name's Amber, I think, and she's really, really sweet. She's doing amazingly as well.
Yeah, that's really important. And I think you came, well, I know you came to our community event where Caitlin was talking about her experience, and she said it was hard, and it is hard. It's hard for anybody going to the university in the UK, let alone going away from home and having to cook different foods with different, going to the market and finding different things to eat. And on top of the academic side of things and settling. So it is really hard, and it might not be easy for the first term or 2, but you push through, and actually these things that are difficult are things that are really worth doing are the difficult things, and that's why it's going to be
something I like to say is your comfort zone is a wonderful place, but nothing ever grows there. So you should always be looking to expand that comfort zone, and make those uncomfortable situations comfortable. So you've got a bigger comfort zone. There you go.
You will. When you come back, it'll be huge.
There you go. So you're comfortable doing anything. You're the bravest you can be.
Exactly. It'll be huge. Brilliant. And so I've got so many questions. Did you when you said you met that you liked the coach, did you meet him over Zoom or did you actually go to the university?
I met him over Zoom because obviously at this point I wasn't sure. I was weighing up my options still, but I met him over a Zoom call and he was absolutely lovely. I've never met someone so friendly. He was really happy to meet me and really happy to tell me everything, and he was very informative. He was very blank with me. He just said, it might not be easy. It's hard training, it's difficult, but if you can do it, you can do it, and you'll be capable of it, which was really promising for me. And yeah, it will be really interesting to see sort of like how the coaching style varies, because no two coaches are the same. So it'll be interesting if it is different, but I'd also hope that he's sort of similar to Justin, because Justin has been incredible for me. So if he's able to support and have that kind of knowledge that Justin has, that'll be amazing.
Yes, yeah, I think it is. I think that he sounds fantastic. He's going to be knowledgeable. He's going to push you in different ways. But we're only going to grow, as you say, if you do things differently as well. So
yeah, exactly. And it's good to have two different perspectives of you as an athlete, because you just get more information about yourself, which you might not have known before. So I think it'll be definitely a huge growing opportunity for me, which is really good.
yes. So tell me what your goals are for the first 6 months or first year at Jacksonville.
So yeah, I mean, the first goal for me, I think, is just to settle in and feel comfortable, because I think I'm going to get there and it's going to be very scary.
Yes.
So I get there and I just want to get to a point where I feel comfortable and settled in and ready to go. I think, and then the quicker that can happen, the better. So that is, even though it feels like a small goal, but for me, I think that's something that I really want to strive for, just to feel like I'm at home there.
Yes, that's not a small goal. That's an incredible goal to have. Yeah.
And then obviously on the academic side of things, I just want to be able to stay on top of everything. Try it, because I've always held myself to a high standard with like grades and stuff. I always want to try and get the best grades possible, or just aim for the highest thing I can get, So I'll try my best to hold that standard up, just stay on top of everything and stuff like that. So that'll be another goal for me. And in terms of like the training aspect, I think as long as I keep improving myself, because it's hard to know kind of, because it's a completely different field out there, because I can't, because here, I'm saying top 10 in the UK, that's really impressive, but top 10 in the US would be a whole different story. So that's something I think I'll need to learn once I'm there, kind of what to aim for. But I think as long as I keep improving and mindset and ability, I think the results should speak for themselves, really, which is good.
Yeah, they absolutely will. Well, you've already started thinking about the goals that you want to achieve, which is brilliant, and I know that you'll really work on those. We did it in our mindset course, didn't we? So you could those pages, you could set yourself some little process goals around there. Settling in, looking after yourself, eating well, sleeping well, doing all that recovery stuff that you need to for your training. And then with the academics as well, just being super organized and doing your diary planning and making sure that you fit everything in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, that definitely the techniques I learned with you on the mindset program were so good, because I still use them now, especially the goal setting, because I feel like it's such an easy way to kind of just visualize everything you want to do. Because I think when you've got so much you want to achieve all in your head, you just can't, you forget it all, or you don't know how to do it. But if you get it down on paper, it's sort of, you're able to visualize it and then approach it and see how you can do it and make it possible.
Yeah. So what course are you studying, or what are you going to do? Because they do kind of minors and majors and different.
It's a complicated one. So the first year in a US university, you don't go straight into your course. You sort of do like the general kind of like the maths, English, history kind of things like that. And then you go into your course. So it's not compulsory to decide what you want to do right now. But I'm leaning towards like the sports psychology or like a sports science kind of thing. Because I mean, it's what I'm used to. It's what I'm really interested in. It's what's going to help me. So I think that's what I'm leaning towards. But I could go there and completely change my mind. So that's nice, having the freedom to kind of go out there, explore my options, and see what I want to do. So that's good. In terms of my majors and minors, I think I'll probably major in something more broad and then minor in something more specific. So I might minor in sports psychology. I think that would be really interesting. But yeah, I'm not sure what direction to take yet. I think I just need to go there and see what grabs me.
Yes, it sounds fantastic. It sounds like you'll be able to have a little bit more chance to decide. Whichever you choose, you're going to come back with a skill that's readily transferable into employment. Whether you stay there or come back, who knows? So I think that's just all sounds really, really positive to me, and I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, I think it definitely looks good to study abroad because it does show a lot of bravery, and there's a lot of skills you need to be able to push yourself to do that. So I couldn't recommend it more to anyone.
You've got a double whammy because I think employers definitely look to athletes because they know they've got resilience, determination, grit, willpower, all of those fantastic traits. And now you're taking yourself to the States. That's showing creativity, courage, exploration, all these other fantastic traits and values. So I think you're going to have a perfect all-round package.
It'll be good, won't it? Yeah.
Well, Ella, it's been absolutely fantastic to catch up with you. Thank you so much for sharing that information. The information about how well you're competing now, how you're smashing through some new PBs and going off to the States on this incredible journey. So if there's anything else you'd like to add to tell and inspire these young athletes who are just a little bit younger than you, you're now 19?
I am 19. No, I'm 18.
18. So for the younger athletes, is there anything else you'd like to tell them?
I think just as always, confidence goes a really, really long way. I think you can fake it till you make it because honestly, it's worked for me. I think if you have faith in yourself, you'll do things that you'll never know, that you'll never believe that you can do. And it's absolutely crazy just what that mindset will allow you to do. Just always strive for the highest thing possible because it's not unachievable. It's not impossible by any means. So just always have confidence in yourself.
No, brilliant. Thanks, Ella. It's been lovely to chat with you.
The pleasure's been all mine. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Athletic Ambitions. We hope you found this episode of interest, and if so, be sure to send this to your family and friends who might also benefit. If you're interested in donating to Cass and Friends, the links are in the description, and we'll hope to see you in the next episode. Thanks, Tom and Fee.